All right, today we've got to break down the one film that everybody is talking about, a movie critics are calling a thundering, dizzying epic, one that has just completely taken over the cultural conversation. Yep, we are talking about Paul Thomas Anderson's brand new action thriller, One Battle After Another. And hey, you know you're dealing with something special when a legend like Steven Spielberg just comes right out and says that. He didn't just praise it, though. He actually compared its whole vibe to Stanley Kubrick's Dr. Strangelove. He called it an absurdist comedy that's so serious and so real, you have to laugh. Because if you didn't, you'd just scream. I mean, come on, when Spielberg is comparing your movie to Kubrick, you're not just making a blockbuster, you are making a major statement. And it's not just Spielberg. The critics are all in. The film is sitting at a near-perfect 98% on Rotten Tomatoes, and the audience score is right up there with it. You've got everyone from Rolling Stone to The New Yorker hailing it as the best film of the year. So what's the deal? What is it about this movie that's creating such a firestorm? What's the secret sauce that makes it feel like an instant classic? Okay, so to really get to the heart of this thing, we're going to peel back the layers. We're going to dig into its sprawling story, we'll unpack its really deep political core, and then we'll explore the incredible, almost forgotten filmmaking craft that makes the whole thing work. So when you boil it all down, One Battle After Another is a chase movie, but it's a chase movie that is just fueled by this deep, deep paranoia. We're following a former radical who's living completely off the grid, right? But his past comes roaring back to life in the form of this really sinister government agent. And get this, the agent isn't just following orders. He's obsessed with the family's revolutionary history, a history the father is trying desperately to bury, while his daughter is just starting to dig it all up. So let's start with the story, because what's so fascinating here is that this thriller, which feels like it was ripped straight from today's headlines, actually has its roots in some of the most complex American literature you can possibly find. Turns out this isn't a totally original screenplay. It's what's being called a vital reimagining of Thomas Pynchon's novel, Vineland. Now, Anderson has tackled Pynchon before with Inherent Vice, but this is a whole different animal. He said he wasn't just translating the book page for page. He stole the parts that really resonated. He basically stripped the novel down to its DNA and grafted it right onto the political landscape of modern-day America. And you can see right here just how brilliantly he mapped Pynchon's world onto his own. You've got Leonardo DiCaprio as Bob Ferguson, the paranoid, totally washed-up radical. Then there's Teyana Taylor as the charismatic but really dangerous Perfidia Beverly Hills, who is this modern take on the revolutionary who betrays the cause. Sean Penn is absolutely chilling as Colonel Lockjaw, the film's villain. And newcomer Chase Infinity, well, she just perfectly embodies the hope of the next generation as the daughter, Willa. Anderson took these powerful, classic character types and just let them loose in the chaos of today. And by doing that, by transplanting those characters, the film does something really profound. It shows us a nation that is quite literally at war with itself. The main conflict isn't just one man versus a government agent anymore. It's a full-blown ideological battle between two extremist factions fighting their war in the shadows of our society. So on one side, you have the French 75, this far-left revolutionary group that Bob and Perfidia used to belong to. They use modern insurgent tactics, bombing offices, attacking the power grid, liberating immigrants from detention centers. And on the other side, you've got the Christmas Adventurers Club, a secret society of wealthy, powerful white supremacists who want to use the military to get their way. Now, what's crucial is that the film doesn't present this as a simple good versus evil fight. Not at all. It's a messy, chaotic, paranoia-fueled vortex where both sides have thrown out the rulebook and they're tearing the country apart in the process. Okay, so we've covered the what and the why, the story and its themes. But what makes this film feel so huge, so visually unique, is the how. And it all comes down to this really bold, almost unheard of technical choice that connects the movie all the way back to the golden age of Hollywood. The entire film was shot in something called VistaVision. So what on earth is that? Well, to put it simply, think about how film usually runs through a camera. Vertically, right? Top to bottom. VistaVision flips that. It turns the standard 35mm film on its side and runs it through the camera horizontally. That simple change creates a negative that's more than double the size of a normal one, which gives you this massively detailed, super high-resolution image. It was literally designed to create what they called motion picture high fidelity. And here's why that is such a big deal. Just let this sink in for a second. The last feature film shot entirely in this format was Marlon Brando's One-Eyed Jacks all the way back in 1961. For decades, VistaVision was pretty much only used for special effects work because the image was so clean. So to shoot an entire, nearly 3-hour epic on it in the 21st century, that's a massive undertaking. It's a true love letter to the power of analog film. But okay, tech talk is one thing. What does all this actually mean for us, the audience? How does it feel? Well, that big horizontal frame, it doesn't just create a sharper image, it creates a different kind of image. Critics have called it a warmer, more mellow texture compared to the sort of cold, clinical look you get with a lot of modern digital movies. There's this incredible richness and depth to it. The picture is just rock steady. You're not distracted by anything, you're just pulled deeper and deeper into this world by the insane detail and color, whether it's a crazy desert car chase or just a quiet, paranoid moment in a dark room. So when you put all of it together, the Pynchon story, the fractured politics, the stunning VistaVision look, you start to realize that every single piece is working toward the film's powerful main message. This isn't just a story about the failures of the past. It's about the burden and, yeah, the promise of the future. And this quote here from Wyatt Allison at Arts Knoxville just absolutely nails the movie's emotional core. DiCaprio's character Bob, he's the living embodiment of a failed revolution. He's haunted by his past, by his compromises, by his paranoia. He represents an entire generation that fought the good fight and, in a lot of ways, lost. So all of his hope now rests with his daughter, Willa. And the final scene just brings this all home so brilliantly. After this whole storm of violence and betrayal, the film doesn't give us some neat and tidy Hollywood ending. No way. Instead, it lands on this quiet, incredibly powerful moment. Bob just watches his daughter, Willa, as she gets ready to leave for a protest. She's learned the complicated, messy truth about her parents and their cause, but it doesn't break her. She's choosing to fight anyway. And in that moment, he gives her his blessing. He's passing the torch. Her battle is just beginning, and she's going to fight it on her own terms. And ultimately, one battle after another kind of turns the camera around and points it right back at us. It's making it clear that the struggles of the past are never really over. They just change shape. The film leaves us with this powerful, lingering question, suggesting that the fight for the future is like a continuous relay race, passed from one generation to the next. And now, it's our turn to answer.